In this video, we will solve question 17, which is to find derivatives using limits. You can see here, they have asked you to find the derivative using limits. These are the two formulas, 2.1 and 2.2, which are shown over here. F dash of A using limits. They're not the same. Now, this one is a limit formula. Both are for derivatives, but now the second one, you might closely remember the slope formula. It's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. It's similar to that. Over here, it's similar to that, but this height h is the distance between these 2 points, and the distance we are considering it to be 0. That's practically the same point, isn't it? Now here, if you look carefully, it's the same thing. B minus, when we take the limit over here, it's become 0, right? Almost, it's the same point itself. We are coming very, very close towards the same point from both the sides and finding the limit. Now we will solve a problem. You'll understand. This is the given function. A value is given. So first you need to write the formula. I'll write in detail for the first problem. We have to do for both these formulas. First, let's write the formula here. Limit as h tends to 0, and this is always a plus h minus f of a divided by h. Now you might be wondering, I've seen this formula in terms of x. Absolutely, that is also fine. A is equal to x here. You can also see it as f of x plus h, f of x by h. That's also fine, because here they have mentioned the a value or the x value. You can consider this as x or a value. Now what we do over here is we substitute first the a value, whatever is given. Now here, derivative of this, f derivative of 1, because they have mentioned to solve at 1, is limit as the distance h is tending towards 0. We have over here 1 plus h minus f of a. Now what is a? It's again 1 divided by h. Now how do we remove this h? This will be gone when we put the limit, but we can't apply the limit now because h0 will be undefined. Now here we have f of x. So let us understand this part. If we have f of x, what is f of h here? Instead of x, we have to just put h, right? That is the answer. Now what about other terms? Let's say f of 1. Instead of x, what do I put? 1. That is the answer, right? But since it's all numbers, we can solve it. It'll be 3 plus 1, it's 4. Now what about here? What do they want? A plus h is simplified to 1 plus h. What about f of 1 plus h? See, f of 1 we have already got, it's 4. But what about f of 1 plus h? Now here, instead of, when it was f of h, instead of x we put h. But now we have to put this entire thing instead of x. It will be 3 into x is 1 plus h. See, here we have 1 plus h. So we just substitute over here. Then remaining plus 1. This is it. Now if you simplify this, we can simplify it further, but let's substitute it in the formula and then let's solve it. Let's continue here. We have got the limit as the h tends to 0. Now what is f of h? It is 3 times 1 plus h plus 1 minus, what is f of 1? It's 4 and divided by h itself. So now here we have still this unknown variable where we have to take its limit of 0, but we can't do it yet. Why? Because we need to simplify whatever is up above. So let's simplify this. It'll be again limit as it tends to 0. 3 times 1 will be 3, and 3 times h is 3h, plus this 1 is separate. See, now this distributive property is done. 3 plus 3h. And over here we have 1 minus 4. I'll directly write it. 1 minus 4 will be minus 3. Here we did the distributive property. It's minus 3. Now this divided by h as it is. Can we solve this up? Yes, we can solve. 3 and minus 3 will be 0. So it will be limit as h tends to 0. 3 and 3 is gone. We have 3h by h, and this cancels. What is remaining? It's 3. Now, if you take the limit, it's just going to be 3 itself, isn't it? So the answer over here is 3 because this variables are cancelled off. H and h cancels off up and down. So you're remaining with 3, and that is the answer. So f derivative of 1 is 3. So all this to find this. Since it's writing, these steps are very, very important. Now this is for the first one using this formula only. Now we have to do the second formula as well. I hope this is clear. Now you can always verify your answers using your calculator. I'll show you how. In your calculator, you can directly find derivatives by pressing shift and this symbol here. This is integral, but when you press shift and this, you get dy by dx, that's derivative. Now here you have to put 3 alpha x plus 1, and over here x value is 1, and see the answer is 3. So yes, that's the correct answer. It's just verification, but these methods are very, very crucial. Now let's use the second formula over here. So the same concept continues, but it's just that the formula is different, but similar way to solve it up. First, we need to write the formula f derivative of a, limit as b tends to a, f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a. Now what you do over here is, see, there is no complications like a plus h. You don't have to, write it. It's very simple. The same thing we write over here. See, for limit b tends to a, the numerator for f of b, it's just that instead of x, we put b plus 1. That's it. For a, what we do, instead of x, we put a. But what is the value of a? We know value of a is 1, right? So we can directly take it as 1. It will be 3 times 1 plus 1, that's 4. So we can directly use this. So f of b would be 3b plus 1. Then what do we have? Minus, what is f of a? F of a is 1. So I'll directly take this as 4. Because given over here as 1, so f of 1 is basically 4. Divided by b minus, what is a? It's 1. Now let's simplify here. So you have, let me just write it over here, limit b tends to a, it's 3b minus 4 plus 1 will be negative 3 divided by b minus 1. Now here you can see 3 and 3 is common terms. We can remove it outside. So limit as b tends to a, 3 is taken out. What is remaining? 3 minus 1 from distributive property. Now if you multiply this back here, 3 times b is 3b, 3 times minus 1 is minus 3. So it's balanced. What do we have here? Minus b minus 1. So it's numerator and denominator having the same terms. We cancel it off. And limit of b tends to a for 3. It's a constant. Limit of any constant is just the number itself. So answer is 3. Yes, that's correct. So this is how we solve it. Now, if I had a choice, if it was over here or to choose which one, this or this, I would personally go with this formula. I mean, it's this the same. Even this is easy, but for I just would go with this because I find this to be easier and simpler for some reason. So that's how we solve these problems, guys. The answer is 3 and 3 in both the cases. Similarly, we can solve the other problems. I'll quickly try to solve this one. Now, I'm not going to write the formula again. It's over here. You need to write it in your exams. I'll do for both of these. So first one, f of, here a value is again 1 plus h will be 3 into, now instead of x, we have 1 plus h squared plus 1. And now, do you remember 1 plus h the whole square? This is like a plus b the whole square formula. This is given as a squared plus 2 times ab plus b squared. So we are going to use this identity over here. Now here what happens is 3, instead of a we have 1, it'll be 1 squared plus 2 times, 1 times h is 2h plus h squared plus 1. And now I will simplify this. It'll be 3 times 1 squared is 1 plus 2h plus h squared plus 1. And over here 3 times, we'll just multiply this inside as distributive property. We will get 3 plus 2 times 3 times 2 is 6h plus 3h squared plus 1, and over here finally I'll write the highest degree first, h, that is 3h power 2 plus 6h, and last I'll write the number that is 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. So this is basically f of 1 plus h. So what happens is we substitute this 1 plus h instead of x, but there it is squared, so this entire thing gets squared, and then we remove the square by using the identity of sum of whole squared, Then what happens is we use the identity and simplify, we got this. Then one more thing is required. What is that? F of a value is 1, so we need also f of 1 here, and that will be 3 into 1 squared plus 1. This is easy. It's 1 squared is 1 itself, so 3 plus 1, it's again 4. And these are the two values. Now we will substitute it directly in the formula as, sorry, it's h tends to 0. It's a derivative of 1 over here because a value is 1. Now this first part becomes 3h squared plus 6h plus 4 minus, what is the second part? F of a is f of 1, it's again 4 itself, divided by h. This cancels. So now here what is remaining? We are remaining with limit as h tends to 0. We have 3h squared plus 6h divided by h. Now we can remove h common because there is h and h, or you can divide this individually, It's up to you. I would personally remove the common term using distributive property. If you remove it outside, it will be 3h only because 1 is gone. And over here, this h is gone. You're remaining with 6 and denominator. And now you can cancel it. Or I will write another alternative. So then over here, what happens is this cancels off. You're remaining with limit h value tends to 0, you have 3h plus 6. So if you substitute the limit now, h becomes 0. So let's apply the limit. What basically happens is it'll be 3 times 0 plus 6. The answer is 6 here. That's it. That is the answer. Now if you want, we will quickly derive this and check the answer. When we derive 2 comes down, it will be 6x plus 0, and substitute x as 1, answer will be 6 itself. Yes, absolutely, it's correct. So this is 6 times 1. But don't do that derivative because over here they have clearly mentioned to do it in limits. Now over here, if you're getting confused with the distributive property, but the distributive property method is very crucial. You have to know that. But you can do one thing. What you can do is, see, from this step, I'll just write it over here. You can divide h individually for both the terms. And this cancels, this and this cancels. So you're remaining with 3h plus 6. Okay, so it'll be the same. Instead of this step, we do this, and then this will be the same. So then we can continue. You write limits and continue. So this is using the first formula. What about the second formula? Now I hope this is clear. Let's quickly do the second formula now. Here, I'm just going to write these f of b here and f of 1, because 1 is, a will be 1. It will be 3b squared plus 1, and over here we have 3 times 1, we just now did it, plus 1 equals 4. Now you realize in this case, let's substitute over here, 3b squared plus 1 minus 4 divided by b minus 1. Because we have been given a as 1, we directly substitute a as 1. Now then, how do we solve this? It will be 3b squared. 4 minus 4 plus 1 will be minus 3, not plus 3, minus 3 divided by b minus 1. Now let's remove this common term. We have to write this limit all the time. Okay, in the exam it's very crucial. Limit b tends to a. And here what we do is limit b tends to a. Remove this 3 common out, distributive property. See, here we have to do distributive property. There's no other way. And you will have b squared minus 1. And over here, denominator, we have b minus 1. Now, don't think, oh, we can just cancel it. No, it's not possible to cancel it directly. Why? Because this is b squared minus 1. This is just b minus 1. We need to split this using the identity a square minus 1, a square minus b square. If you remember, it is a plus b, a minus b. This is the rule. Ax squared minus b squared is given. This is the difference of squares. Squared and minus, it'll be a plus b, a minus b. There is no identity if there is plus. Don't think it's the same. No, there is no identity. Only when a squared minus b squared. Now we have, instead of a, we have b squared minus 1 can be written as 1 square. So what happens here is limit as b tends to a, 3, and over here we will have b plus 1, b minus 1 divided by b minus 1. Now you can cancel these two terms and you're remaining with, over here, limit as x tends to a, you're having 3 into b plus 1 only. Now we will, okay, I forgot to change one important thing. Sorry guys. What is a value? It's 1, right? Let it be. It's fine if you write it as a, but remember here I will just change it from a, from this a value to 1. Why? Because they have told us in the question a is equal to 1. Okay, I changed over here, but I forgot to change it in the limits. You can change it everywhere over here after the formula. So now over here, what I do is I just substitute the limit. It'll be 3 into, what is this, b, okay, it's b, not x. Sorry, I'm clumsy a bit. Please understand, these are silly mistakes, but please don't do them in the exam. You have to be thorough. It's b over here everywhere. The second formula is about b. First is about h. In the first one, it's 0, but over here, whatever the a value is given, we take it to that. Now we substitute over here. B will become 1, that is a value, plus 1. This is basically 3 times 2, that is 6, and that's the answer. Over here we just now did 6 is the answer. Doesn't matter which formula we use, the answer will be the same, that is 6 itself. A quick reminder, I will be solving many problems, as many as possible in writing, but once you have understood, please solve them by yourselves and you can move forward by at your own pace. Now we will look into this problem. Here we have square root. Same thing, we will use both the formulas and solve. First one over here will have a plus h, but a is given as 1. So it's 1 plus h. Over here we will get x is 1 plus h plus 1. And that's it. So let's try to simplify this here itself. It will be square root 3 plus 3h plus 1. And that will make it, I'll write 3h first and then we have plus 4. Okay, and what about other thing? If it's 1, f of 1 will be equal to 3 times 1 plus 1, that is equal to 3 plus 1, that is square root of 4, that is 2. You can use calculator directly, but anyways. Now then, what do we do is, we use this formula. First you need to write the formula because it's already there. I'm not going to write it every time. I'll directly substitute. F dash of 1 will be, this f dash is prime, okay, but I just call it dash. F prime means derivative. F prime of 1, limit as h tends to 0. Here, I'm not going to write anything over here. Directly, I'll write this part. So it is 3h plus 4 because we already solved it up, right? And then minus, what is f of 1? This over here 2, directly 2 divided by h. Now here, see, we have to take the limit of h as 0. Whenever we have denominator h, we cannot solve it. It'll be wrong. Here there's an issue. We cancel off this h with the numerator, right? But it's inside the square root. If it's inside the square root, there is no way we can simplify it further. So we need to do a manipulation called conjugates. You have to multiply and divide by conjugate. You know, what does conjugate mean? When you have radical, that is square root, I'll take example of simple one, x, and then you have plus a, imagine, and over here x. You have to multiply and divide by the opposite sign of this. See, square root x minus a, and divide square root x plus minus a itself. Now what happens is, this is equivalent to 1. This cancels off and it's 1. So it's basically multiplying this term by 1. It's nothing wrong because we can multiply by 1 and this remains the same. So we are balancing it out. This is already 1, so it's balanced. Now here, what does it look like? The first term, it's a plus b, imagine like this, and a minus b. Look carefully, this is a, same terms, plus and minus, and there is bb, second terms. So the formula is a squared minus b squared, isn't it? We have used it in the last problem. Now we apply it over here. So what happens is x, root x the whole square minus a the whole square. And this square root and this cancels off, so you will have in the numerator x minus a square. Here down in the denominator, it's just that we multiply these both. So here both the cases, it'll be just x multiplied by square root x minus a. Okay, up, what happens is we use this identity. So let's use the same thing over here in this given problem. I use this simple example just to show, because it was single variables. Now let us solve it up. The limit as h tends to 0, square root 3h plus 4, the square root is for entire thing, minus 2 here, divided by h, multiply with what? Square root 3h plus 4. There is 2, but since we have minus here, we have to take the opposite sign. One should be plus and one should be minus. Minus is already there, we take plus. The same things, 3h plus 4 plus 2. Now here at above, this entire thing is like a minus b, a plus b. So we have to just square it up. Now, in your exam, instead of writing many steps, I will simplify this into a single step. Look here. This square root just cancels off because you're squaring it anyways. So I'll directly write 3h plus 4 minus, what about 2 times 2 square? 2 square is 4. So this happens. The first term, whichever has radical, just write it without radical, minus the second term, just square it. Obviously, it must be the same terms, right? Now, down below here, h multiplied by root of 3h plus 4 plus 2. Now, this is all multiplied with h. Now, here, remember, we don't mind if h is in the denominator inside a radical with plus or minus. When you have other term, it's not going to be undefined. Now, if you remove this term, then what happens is this h doesn't make any problems. Why? Because when you apply the limit of 0, this term is 0, but there is 4. So it doesn't make any problem, you know. So now what we do is, we simplify the numerator here. Limit as h tends to 0. Here we have 3h plus 4 minus 4 just cancels off. It will be just 3h. H divided multiplied by radical 3h plus 4, and then we have plus 2. Now here this cancels with this, so what remains over here is h tends to 0. We have only 3 in the numerator. Down we have 3h plus 4 plus 2 outside the radical. Now let's apply the limit. Limit h is 0, so it will be 3 divided by square root 3 times 0 plus 4, and then over here we have plus 2. And now if you put this entire in the calculator, you can get the answer. Over here, what's going to happen is 3. This 3 times 0 is 0, so it's 4. Radical 4 is 2. So it's basically 3. 2 plus 2, it's 3/4. So it's 3 by 4. That's the answer. Now you can use the derivative rules, square root rule. What is it? 1 by 2 root x. And you can simplify this and apply a value, x value as 1 and solve it. Or use your calculator directly and solve it. Your answer will be 3/4. Okay, this is using the first formula. Now I'll use the second formula here. So here we go. F of b will be equal to what? It'll be 3b plus 1. Oh, that's it. This is easy. Okay, the second formula is easy. I like the second formula more because you don't have that plus h and all the simplification. And over here we get 3 times 1 plus 1. Basically it's 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. Square radical 4 is again 2. This is the same thing like the previous one, only you don't need to write this again because when you're solving it for both, already it will be written once. Now what we do is, we will apply this formula. I'm directly going to substitute over here. Limit b tends to, what is a value? It's given as 1. Now here in the numerator, f of b is square root 3b plus 1. What about the next one? Minus What about f of a? We know it's 2 divided by, now b value is as it is minus 1. Now when you apply the limit over here, if you directly apply now, it's going to be 1 minus 1, 0. It's undefined. You can't do that. So we need to do the same conjugate method, both the steps, both the formulas. We have the same concept here, but it's just that the values change. Over there it was 3h, here we have 3b. So here we get 3b plus 1 minus 2 divided by b minus 1. Multiply and divide by the conjugate, that is 3b plus 1 plus 2 divided by square root 3b plus 1 plus 2. Here directly I'm going to write it b tends to 1. In the numerator we will have 3b plus 1 minus 2 square will be 4. This radical cancels off because the formula is a plus b the wholes, a plus b, a minus b is a square minus b square. Just remember that. Now in the denominator we have b minus 1. Okay, but what next? Here we have this entire thing, 3b plus 1, which is inside the radical, plus 2. So this is another term altogether. It's multiplied to b minus 1. Now let's simplify here. We have 3b minus 3, denominator is b minus 1, and radical 3b plus 1. Sorry, now 3b plus 1 is all under radical plus 2. This is all multiplied. And the limit as b tends to 1. Even now you can't apply the limit of 1. Why? Because it's undefined. 1 minus 1 is 0. In the denominator we cannot have 0. But look over here in the numerator. We have 3b minus 3, which can be, we have done this before, 3 can be removed out, distributive property, and you're remaining with b minus 1, isn't it? Now down we have again b minus 1. Now we can cancel those terms. See, let me do it over here. 3 into b minus 1. I'm removing 3 outside, distributive property, limit as b tends to 1. Here we have b minus 1, and then we have square root 3b plus 1 plus 2. Now what do we do? This cancels, and you're remaining with 3 divided by root of 3b plus 1 plus 2. Now it's fine to apply the limit. Why? Because limit is 1. If you apply here, nothing is going to be a problem because this is cancelled off. It's not going to be undefined anymore. I'll apply the limit. Numerator is 3. Denominator over here we will have 3 times 1. Don't put 0. In the first formula here it's 0. Here it's a value, and a given is 1 plus 1, and over here we have plus 2. You can just put this in the calculator, but I know it's going to be 3 by 4. Let's solve it up. It's going to be 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So it's again 2 plus 2, and we have 3 by 4. So that is the answer. So it's 3/4 and 3/4. Both the answers must be same because we are deriving the same function, but it's just two different formulas which will give you the same answer. So you can see it's 3/4 over here and 3/4 here as well. So that's how we solve this. And last one, okay, this is also different, so I'll solve this one as well. Here in 1 to 4 we use both the formulas, okay, this and this. So now again let's quickly do it up. The first one is a, but now here look, a is not 1, it's 2 plus h now. So what's gonna be? It's gonna be 2 plus h plus 1. We will simplify this. It's gonna be 3 divided by h plus 3. Okay, why? Because h plus 1, 2 and 1 will be 3. Next is we have f of 2. It's not f of 1 anymore because a value is 2. So this is going to be f of 2. So that will be 3 divided by 2 plus 1. That is 3 divided by 3. It's 1. So these are the two terms which we require. Now I'll use the formula limit as h tends to 0. And the function over here, the first one will be directly, I'm going to write 3 divided by h plus 3. Minus 1 divided by the whole thing divided by h. Now how would we solve this up? Here we need to find the common denominator. This is like rational functions, right? Here up and down, and there's a single term. So the concept is very simple. Let me just show you here. whenever this is 1, you can't just do 3 minus 1. No, because the denominator is also 1 here. There is no denominator, that means it's 1. And here we have denominator. So basically, whatever is up over here, you need to multiply h plus 3 and divide to this h plus 3. Look, we are balancing it because this h plus 3 up and down, it's the same thing, right? It's 1. So we have not we are just manipulated. It's nothing wrong. It's balanced. We have just manipulated it. So now here what happens is we will have the left side same. Denominator is same. Minus, now right side it's going to be h plus 3 divided by h plus 3. So now when the denominators are same, easily merge them up together. So this limit as, it's not h, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, this is the first formula. Yeah, h. I thought we were doing the second one. Anyways, so we can write this denominators both as h plus 3 together, and up it is just 3 minus this entire term h plus 3, and entire thing divided by h. It's a bit lengthy, but now this is how we do it. Now what? Here we have to write limit as h tends to 0. Let me just go back over here. When we have limit as h tends to 0. We cannot apply the 0. Why? Because we have this h and it will be undefined. Now this denominator, see, let me write it like this. A by b divided by c. What exactly this means is this and this are together. This is equal to a by bc. Okay. Now, if we had another term like d over here, then this will go up. It will be AD by BC. So this is the concept. Now here, since we have just these three terms, we can merge B and we can multiply B and C together, because that's the rule. When you have A divided by B divided by something else, this A is divided by B and divided by C. So these both can be written like this. So I'll write it the same way. Now 3 minus h minus 3. Minus h minus 3 divided by h plus 3. And what do we have over here? We can write this h over here or over here. It's the same thing over here. And now this plus 3 minus 3 cancels off. So what happens? You're remaining with limit as h tends to 0. And we have minus h remaining here, h remaining here, h plus 3. Now this is same. So what has happened? It will be limit as h tends to 0 minus 1 divided by h plus 3. I hope this is clear. Now we can apply the limit. Why? Because now if we apply 0, it's fine, because we have 0 plus 3, so it's 3 in the denominator. But if we applied over here, this h would have been 0 and divided by 0 would be undefined. That's the concept. And now here when we apply the limit, I'm just going to write it over here, minus 1 divided by 0 plus 3. It's negative 1/3. So that is the answer. And here you can use the calculator or use the quotient rule and check the answer must be this. So that's how we solve this up. And now we have to use the second formula as well. Let us do it. So remember, the answer is negative 1/3. Here you can see it's minus 1/3. That's the first one. Okay, now even let's do the second one. It's just the same thing, but I'll quickly do it because it's the last problem in this, in the first 4 exercises. So f of b would be 3 by b plus 1, and f of a is 2. We have just done it a while ago. It will be 2 plus 1, that is 1. Why? It's 3 divided by 3. This is it. Now let's substitute in the formula. Limit as b, here it tends to 2, not 1, because a value is given as 2. Let's substitute 3 divided by b plus 1 minus 1 divided by, what is b here? B is, as it is, sorry, a is 2. Now can you directly apply the limit? If you apply, it will be 0 and it's undefined. So we do the same concept what we did a while ago. We multiply and divide this by the denominator. Now remember, this is not conjugate. Don't think, oh, I should change the sign. No, only when there is a radical, when you have radical like this, x squared plus 1, something like this, then you change the sign. Okay, and sorry, it should be outside. Then you change the sign. When it is just terms, we need to write it as common term, which is a fraction. You need to just multiply the same term up and down. I'll multiply this by b plus 1, b plus 1 up and down. And now this is going to be 3 divided by b plus 1 minus b plus 1 divided by b plus 1, the entire thing b minus 2. And the limit remains the same, b tends to 2. Now let's simplify this. We have done this a while ago. So limit as b tends to 2, it's going to be 3 minus b plus 1. But remember, this minus is for both the terms. I will put a bracket. 3 minus 2 terms means I'll put a bracket divided by b plus 1. Since they are same numerator, we just write it up together. Now, if you're wondering how this is happening, imagine 3 by 5 minus 1 by 5. How do we solve it up? 5 and 5 it's same. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we write 3 minus 1. That's 2 by 5, right? 2/5 is the answer. Same way we are doing this. If it was plus over here, then it will be 4/5. You add it up, it will be 4 by 5. So the same concept, same terms, denominator, same thing. And here we have b minus 2. Okay, now what do we do? So let's write the limit as b tends to 2. Here we have got 3 minus b minus 3 because, minus 1. It will be 3 minus b minus 1 because this minus sign is multiplied to both the terms. We have b plus 1, and I told you when this is divided by both these terms, we write it directly b minus 2. Now what happens up over here? It will be limit as b tends to 2. 3 minus 1 will be 2. Okay, so I'll write this first. I'll write this 2 minus b. Now there is a little bit of a problem. I'll tell you what happens now. Plus 1 and b minus 2. You can see these two terms, b and 2, but the signs are an issue, right? There is a rule for that. You can just take a minus sign outside or multiply this by minus sign and swap the signs for these two terms. Meaning, if I have 2 minus b, this is equal to minus 1 times b minus 2. Why? Because I've removed a minus sign outside. This minus sign is gone and this becomes plus, whereas this was positive, it becomes minus. Let me multiply this inside and it'll be the same. If I multiply it inside, it'll be minus b plus 2, or it's 2 minus b, right? 2 minus b, it's the same thing. So that is what we will do over here. We will take out, it's still limit, b tends to 2, minus is removed out, and we have b minus 2. Denominator is b plus 1, b minus 2. And now we can cancel this off. Why? Because they are same terms, right? We can cancel because we have removed the minus sign outside. And now apply the limit over here. Denominator, apply the limit. See, above there's nothing. It's minus 1 divided by, see, you can write over here minus 1 directly, multiplied by b minus 2, or you can ignore it anyways. Nothing means it's minus 1, and over here when you apply the limit, it's 2 plus 1, that's negative 1/3. So that is the same answer what we got just a while ago. It's again negative 1/3. So this is how we solve for the second, using the second formula. Any formula, you'll get the same answer, and that's what we do. Now for the next 5 to 12 exercises, we can use any one of the formula. It's OR. See, I've solved both these formulas from till just now. Now this is same problem. I think so we did the same one, right? 3x squared plus 1. So here it's the, yeah, that's already done. So we have done the same thing already, but now it's up to you to choose any formula. What I would personally choose is the second one only. Okay, but there's a problem now. I mean, I forgot to tell you what's the difference. There is no a value. Can you see there is no a value? A is not 1, 2, it's not there. So a is x. We can alter the formula here. Instead of a, you can just write it as x. That will be limit as h tends to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. This is h. The second formula becomes again x, that is limit, but now here b tends to x, not a, because we don't have an a value, and f of b minus f of x divided by b minus x. Remember this is very important. So now this is the change what we will get. Hope this is clear. So instead of a, wherever a is there, we just keep x, because a values are not given, they have just given the function, that's it. So this is the formula we would tend to use. Over here, wherever a is there, just put x. Okay, everywhere. Even over here, wherever a is there, we just put an x value. Now I'll solve this over here using this second formula. You can use any, but I'll just choose second because it's easier. So f of b here will be 3b squared plus 1. And what about f of x? F of x is the same given equation, so I'm not going to write it again. See, this is going to save some time, because over here it would have been, applying, writing the formula, expanding and all that. So here what happens is, limit as b tends to x, the first term is 3b squared plus 1 minus 3x squared plus 1. Now remember, this is in brackets, divided by b minus x. What do we do here? We can't apply the limit directly. If you put x minus x is 0 and it's undefined. Because you're subtracting by the same variable, it becomes 0 here. So let's simplify it then. How can we simplify? Let's see, 3b squared plus 1 minus multiplied inside will be minus 3x squared minus 1 divided by b minus x, and this limit b tends to x. Now what? This plus 1 minus 1 cancels off, so you're remaining with 3b squared minus 3x squared. I'll just write it over here, 3b squared minus 3x squared. 3 and 3 is common, isn't it? So I can remove that outside, it will be b squared minus x squared. And now you can simplify this further. Let me just write it over here. So it's limit as b tends to x. We have got 3 removed outside, b squared minus x squared divided by b minus x. Now here this b squared minus x squared can be expanded as, it's a squared minus b squared. It's a plus b, a minus b, b plus x, b minus x, because we have b and x. So that is what I will do over here. Limit as b tends to x. We have 3 times b plus x, b minus x divided by b minus x. Now can we cancel this? Yes, of course. And what is remaining with us? Limit as b tends to x. We have 3 into b plus x. Now let's substitute the limit of b. B becomes what? X. So it will be 3 times x plus x. What is x plus x? It's 2x. 3 times 2x. 3 times 2 is 6x. That is the answer. Now let's look over here. When we solve this up, 3x squared. If you use the power rule, this power 2 comes down. It will be 3 into 2x. 1 is 0, so it is 6x. Yes, absolutely. So this is how we basically solve it up. I hope this is clear. So that's how we solve this problem. Now I have used the second formula. You can even use the first formula and solve it. They have used the first formula. Okay, you might think, okay, there is only so many steps, whereas mine is so much, right? I mean, these were just the formulas. I've just done it in 4 to 5 steps. But as you can see here, they have not done entire steps. They have jumped few of the steps, okay? That's the reason it's very short. If you go through it, you might not understand it thoroughly. But if you find this easy, just go with it. I tend to use the second formula because I find this easier compared to the above one. Now, all these problems are the same thing. I'll do this one and then I will see if there are similar problems. I'll skip it and I'll move to the harder problems. So what do we do here? Again, the same concept, f of b first. I'm just going to use the second formula only. F of b would be b squared minus 2b plus 1. And directly I'll write it in the formula f dash of x, that's f prime of x or derivative, would be limit as b tends to x. We have got what? We have got first f of b here, b squared minus 2b plus 1 minus, what is f of x? See, this is not a, it's x, this term itself, but use the brackets, x squared minus 2x plus 1 divided by b minus x. Now let's remove this. I'm not gonna write the limit because it's there everywhere, okay? I'll just write the right side, okay? So it's b squared minus 2b plus 1 minus x squared plus 2x minus 1. Now what we can see here is only this 1 and 1 cancels off. What else? We can write b squared minus, okay, I did not write the denominator. Here we have the denominator b minus x. Don't forget that. Even the limit you should not forget. I'm just a bit lazy, writing it all the time. So it's these are basic things, you must have it. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll group b square and x square together, and then what do we have here? Minus 2b plus 2x divided by b minus x. Now after this simplification, there is a method which we must follow. The method is this. See, if you have a plus b plus c plus d divided by x, this is same as a plus b divided by x plus c plus d divided by x. Why? Because the denominators are same. We can write it up together and add up all the things, right? A plus b plus c plus d, isn't it? For our advantage, if we have this given question, we can split it up like this. Same way over here, we can see b minus x, b and x is there, b and x is there. So we can split it up to our advantage. How? Just like this. Let me show you over here. B squared minus x squared divided by b minus x. Then always add plus no matter what. And then write this minus 2b plus 2x divided by b minus x. This is a trick, or I mean this is an easier method, to do it. Look, it's just like this we have added. Over here there was minus. Now imagine we had minus c over here, and it's fine. Just add this minus here. So when we finalize it, again it'll be minus. That's it. Now if you add it up, you're gonna get the same above equation. So that's fine. It's balanced. Now then, here b squared minus a squared, what is the formula? It's b minus x, b plus x, b minus x divided by b minus x. And what about the right side? Here, if you take 2 outside, only 2, it'll be minus b plus x. So just take minus 2 outside. What is it going to be? It'll be positive b because minus 2 is gone. And minus 2 from positive is gone, so it'll be minus x divided by b minus x. Now cancel it off, cancel it off. The main reason why we did this is to remove the denominator b minus x. If we apply the limit, it would have been x minus x. Now we can apply the limit. This b is tending to x. Now it's all in the numerator, so it's absolutely fine. So what is this? It is b plus x. This is all cancelled. Plus, only minus 2 is remaining. So plus becomes minus 2. So this is the thing. And let's apply this x over here. So this is going to be where there is limit. Everywhere there is limit. B tends to x. Over here also there is limit. Here also limit. You write it. Limit, and please write the variables over here. This b tends to x as well. Now here when we apply the limit of x, it's going to be x plus x minus 2. That is equivalent to 2 plus 2 is 2x minus 2. That's the answer. Let us check this whether it's correct. Derive it. Here x squared is 2x, from power rule, minus 2. Yes, that's the correct answer. So this is how we solve it up. I hope this is clear. I'm just going to use one of the formula. I tend to use the second formula most of the time. It's easier. You can try with the first formula as well. And over here, the first formula is there. Say it's not so simple. Here they have missed some steps. But if you're thorough with the first formula, go ahead with it. But I'm sure they have not done all the steps here in the solution set. If you do the steps, it's overall almost the same number of steps what I've written over here. Now here, and it's not number of steps, it's about mean understanding. If you understand, then you can skip. If I'm just writing for myself, I would have skipped many steps and directly jumped to the answer. But for understanding purposes, I'm writing it in detail. I will solve this one over here. It's power 3. I remember for power 3 now we will get, in terms of a cubed minus or plus b cubed. We have to use this formula. Now let's first, for this particular formula, it's f of b, that is b cubed plus 2b minus 1. Let's directly substitute in the formula its limit as b tends to x. What do we have over here? The first term is b cubed plus 2b minus 1 minus, what is the other thing? It's over here. But now you can put the bracket. I used to put the bracket and then multiply the minus sign, but I'll directly multiply this by minus sign. See, this minus times f of x, right? I'll just multiply this throughout by minus sign. It'll be minus x cubed minus 2x plus 1 divided by, so I'm not writing minus bracket anything because I've already multiplied here, divided by minus b minus x, sorry. That's it. Now here then what happens? Let us simplify. What cancels off? Only minus 1 and plus 1 cancels off. Then everything is there. So here we have, let's write the cubes together. B cube, you have to write limit throughout. B cube minus x cube plus 2b minus 2x divided by b minus x. Again, limit as, see, the reason I'm writing it purposely is you never forget it. Don't forget it in the exam. If you don't write it, you may lose your marks. Okay, that's the reason. Now then, again, what we did just a while ago, we do the same thing. See, b and x is over here and over here, so let me split it out. It's b cube minus x cube divided by b minus x. And what about this plus? It's 2b, it's plus only, minus 2x divided by b minus x. The limit is b tends to x. Now what else? Now you must recall the formulas for b cubed and x minus x cubed. See, b cubed plus, so I'll write it as a cubed and b cubed. A cube plus b cube is given by, see, when this is plus over here, always remember you start with a plus b, then you write a squared minus ab plus b squared. There is a mistake which many students tend to do. It's a bit of confusion. Now many students think, okay, if it's plus, everything is plus. No, that is not the case. This is minus. Whereas if it is a cubed minus b cubed, it's a minus b, then everything is plus. A squared plus ab plus b squared. So this is the concept over here. This is the formula identity. Now let's substitute the formula here, the second formula. Remember, here what happens? It's b minus x, then everything is plus b squared plus bx plus x squared. That's it. What do we do? This is a and b, right? Instead of a and b, we have b and x. So we write this same, the identity. You must remember this identities. Here left side limit as b tends to x. Now if you're thinking, why don't we just apply the limit? If you apply the limit in this part over here, x minus x is 0, it's entirely undefined. We can't. But now you can see there is b minus x, which cancels off. And there is no denominator b minus x, so we can apply the limit. But right side, remove the 2 outside. And what does remain? B minus x, and you have b minus x here, cancels off, remaining is 2. So now you're remaining with limit b tends to x. We have b squared plus bx plus x squared plus 2. And what do we do is we substitute this x here, right? It's going to be x squared plus x times x plus x squared plus 2. Now this is basically x squared plus x squared plus x squared plus 2. How many times x squared? It's 3x squares plus 2. That is the answer. Now let's just check this as well. 3 comes down, yes, it's 3x squared plus 2. Yeah, that's the answer itself. So this is how always verify your answer. If you have got any error, you can easily check it, and then you can trace back where did you do wrong and then rectify it. So this is how we solve it. It's getting a little bit lengthier, right? But that's how we solve these problems. Over here again, see, they have skipped many steps. These I've just tried as less as possible, but still you can skip some steps over here. Say over here I've done many, right? You can jump, but this is for understanding purposes. I've done it all. Now once your denominator is rid of minus b minus x, then you apply the limit and easily get the answer. Let's move on to the next problem. And if you're already tired till over here, you can stop. If you've understood the topic thoroughly, you can skip ahead. You don't need to watch each and every problem. It would be a nice practice if you try to solve this by yourselves and then check for the explanation. Now, about this problem here, it's a little bit tricky because if you're going to use the second formula, there's minus. What happens over here is you will have x power 4, it'll be b power 4 minus x power 4. This identity is way too big. So let's use the first one. What happens when you use the first one is it'll be whole power 4. It'll be like a plus b the whole power 4. If you recall Pascal's triangle, we have that identity. Now, if you're thinking how, I can't remember, I can't memorize, then I'll just recall a few things. It is about Pascal's triangle. I hope you remember this. You have done this before. So this is to find any identity. This is 0, 1, 2, 3 would be over here. Ends are always with 1. Middle, you just add them up. 2 plus 1 is 3. And again over here 3. And 4 will be over here again 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. So now what this means is if you want a plus b the whole power 4, you need to know this first one is the coefficient 1 a to the power 4 plus 4 a to the power 3 and b power 1 plus 6 a to the power 2 b to the power 2 plus 4a just a power 1 and b power 3, and lastly we have plus b power 4. This is how we can get any identity. If you keep on going further, the Pascal's triangle, you can extend it and you'll get power 5, power 6 and so on. Now this is how I would do it, because this is the best way to do it, and because the first formula if you use, since we are power 4, you have to use the power 4 identity. You can use this for any a power a plus b the whole power 2, power 3, power 4, power 5 and so on. Now I'll just write this over here, keep it over there, and let's solve it up. But here I'm going to use the first formula. This is going to be too difficult because of the identity. How we can solve this first thing? F of, instead of x, this is all x, okay? No a this time because a value is not given. Instead of x, we put a plus h, that is x plus h, sorry. X plus h. And this is going to be x plus h the whole power 4 minus 2 into x plus h the whole squared plus 1. Now when we simplify this f of x plus h, what happens? We have to use this identity in this case. It will be x power 4 plus 4 times x cubed h plus 6. Since it's plus, it's all plus. If it was minus, then the second term is minus, right? You have to put minus and it changes. This is all Pascal's triangle. Just recall this. This is from grade 10, by the way. Now here it is x squared h squared plus 4x h cubed plus h to the power 4. Okay, that is the expansion of the first one. Minus, we have 2 times what? A plus b the whole square. A plus b, it's very simple. It'll be a squared plus 2 times ab plus b squared. And now we will substitute over here. It'll be x squared plus 2 times xh plus h squared plus 1. Isn't it so big? But this is the thing, And now we will try to simplify x power 4. What happens over here? We have 4x cubed h plus 6x squared h squared plus 4x h cubed plus h to the power 4 minus 2x squared minus 4x h minus 2 h squared. What did I do? I just multiplied this minus inside plus 1. Now can we cancel anything? Oh, sadly no, nothing. So we just leave it like that. And now what we have to do is this entire thing, right? We have to substitute this whole thing. It's a bit long. I hope this doesn't come for exam. It's just too lengthy and it becomes much messy, This is basically, f of x plus h. You don't need to simplify. You can't simplify anything further as of now. What about f of x? Okay, I'm not going to write it. It's already there. So now I'll directly substitute in the formula, okay? The formula, the first formula, we'll get limit as h tends to 0. This term is all this term here, x power 4 plus 4x cubed h plus 6x squared h squared plus 4x h cubed plus h power 4 minus 2x squared minus 4x h minus 2h squared plus 1. Subtract it with this terms. What happens over here? It's x power 4 minus and minus becomes plus 2x squared, because we have to minus negative all these terms, minus x squared, but this is already minus, it becomes plus, and lastly we have minus 1. 1 cancels off. What about this? 2x squared over here cancels off. What about x power 4? Yes, this also cancels off. So now it's not less, but something little bit lesser, you know. Now let's write all the remaining terms divided by h. So limit as h tends to 0. You can't make the limit of h 0 now because it'll be undefined. So let's write it out. We have x to the power 3 h. Okay. Then plus 6x squared h squared plus 4x h cubed plus h power 4 minus 4x minus 2h squared. Did you see what happened now? Okay, that is a very bad line. Okay, again, oh my god. This is me getting roasted in my mind, I guess. And now we have h. So you can see here in the numerator, we have h common in all of these terms. So we can rearrange and write this h outside distributive property 4x cubed only because h is gone, plus 6x squared h only because 1h is gone, plus what happens over here? We have 4x squared plus h cubed minus 4x only minus 2h divided by h, and that limit h tends to 0. Now because h and h is cancelled off, we can easily apply the limit. So 4x cubed remains, but what happens over here is this limit becomes 0 plus 0. Now again over here h is there, so it's 0. What happens over here? Plus 0. Minus 4x remains minus 0. So this is it. Now let's remove all the zeros and write. It'll be 4x power 3 minus 4x. Is that correct? Let's just solve it over here. It'll be 4x power 3 minus 4x. Yeah, that's correct. So that's the answer. Now, I know it's lengthy, but it's simple as well if you understand the rules. So if you just know this formula to substitute. Now here, I wouldn't be using this because here it'll be a power 4 minus b power 4. And it's very complicated. So use the first one. It's or, any one. See, you can try using the above one. It might be easier for you, but there are many problems where the second formula is much easier. We have seen it already before. But in some cases, you have to use this formula. So that's how we solve it up. And I'm sure this is no way to get this answer. It's actually this long. The solution set doesn't show it so properly. Now, this is not the accurate way to solve any of these problems, but if in the exam you just can't remember this method, do this. Just do the power rule. Right over there, you're doing power rule and do 4x power 3 minus 2 into multiplied by again over here 2x power 1, plus 0, and then write it is 4x power 3 minus 4x. I'm sure you're not going to get the full marks, but at least few marks you might get, you know, for this method. You know, you might get a couple of marks, and over here the answer is correct, so 1 mark over there. So at least some marks, okay? And if you know the formulas, please write the formulas at least, you know, and you might get some marks over there. So that's how we can solve it up. Okay, this is seeming like it's just not gonna end, isn't it? So I'll quickly do this one, and I hope the other problems are similar so we can stop. I'm gonna use the second formula itself over here. So here it's gonna be f of b that is equal to 3 by b plus 1. We have done a similar one before, but it's just that a value was given. Here a value is not given. So here we have 3b plus 1 minus 3 by x plus 1 divided by b minus x. Now here there is a little bit of a problem. The denominators are not matching, isn't it? So what you need to do in such cases is, whatever is the denominator here, you multiply over here and divide it over here, b plus 1. And this denominator to the other side, x plus 1 multiply and x plus 1 divide. That's the concept. Now here when you simplify now, what's going to happen? It will be 3 into x plus 1 minus, because now the denominator both the sides will be x plus 1 b plus 1, and the right side it's going to be 3 into b plus 1. That's the thing. And what next? Here divided, this entire thing is divided by b minus x. I hope so much is okay. Next step, what you can do is you can say this comes down itself, your b minus x, but the problem is we don't want that. We need to simplify this, isn't it? So multiply this 3 inside. Over here there is limit. Over here also there is limit as b tends to x. Okay, the limit over here is also same thing as b tends to x. Now this denominator and this can be written together because we had seen before a divided by b divided by c is basically a by b times c, right? So here I'll multiply 3 inside, distributive property, and even over here with minus 3. It'll be 3x plus 3 minus 3b minus 3 divided by, we have b minus x, x plus 1, b plus 1. Now plus 3 minus 3 cancels off. You can remove 3 outside. Now here remember this b must be positive. So what you do is take minus 3 outside. There is all limits everywhere. Limits is there. Okay, here also limits is there. Minus 3, when I remove it outside, what happens is this b becomes positive and minus x divided by b minus x and the other two terms, x plus 1, b plus 1. Now this cancels off. You have minus 3 by x plus 1, b plus 1. Now here limit is what? B tends to x. So let's substitute. It becomes minus 3 divided by x plus 1 as it is, but this b also becomes x, so it will be x plus 1, and it is minus 3 by x plus 1 the whole squared. So this is the answer. And yes, that will be the answer because it's like, 1 by x, 1 by x formula of derivation is minus 1 by x squared, but instead of 1 by x, we have x plus 1, but the same thing, minus 3 divided by x plus 1, this whole thing becomes squared. So that is the solution. Now I've used the second formula and done it. You can use the first one and do the same as well. Only thing is the limit becomes 0. Here the limit x tends to b tends to x. So b changes to x. It's minus 3 by x plus 1 the whole square. Again, this is similar. Please try it by yourself. There's no much difficulty in this. You can see over here the solution set as well. Okay, over here everything is done in detail, I believe. Just remember, when the denominators are different, you multiply this denominator up and down here and this other side to the other side. Okay, I will do this one, square root. Again, I'm going to use the second one itself. F of t is there, so don't take a as x. Let's take it as t because that is the variable over here. F of b will be square root 3b plus 1. So what is the formula? A limit as b tends to t, this time not x, we have square root 3, this t becomes b plus 1 minus, then what do we have is over here, f of t itself, just write the same thing, 3t plus 1 divided by, we have b minus t. Now this is a problem. Why? Because there's radicals, not a problem. I mean, radicals are there. We can't directly apply the limit. If we apply limit of b to t, it will be undefined. Whenever radicals are there, remember conjugate, multiply and divide by the opposite sign. So over here, I multiply this by 3b plus 1 plus 3 radical 3t plus 1. We have done this problem before, right? Radical, you multiply the conjugate. Your a value is not given, so it's just that we have b and t. So here 3b plus 1 plus 3t plus 1. And now let's solve it up. Here we will have b minus t multiplied with root of 3b plus 1 plus root of 3t plus 1. Now up above, directly I'm going to write, it will be a squared minus b squared. So the radical symbol goes off. It will be 3b plus 1 minus 3t plus 1. Here we have limit as b tends to t. Again, limit as b tends to t. This 3b plus 1 and minus sign is multiplied inside, will be minus 3t minus 1. Plus 1 minus 1 cancels off. Down denominator is the same. Square root 3b plus 1 plus root 3t plus 1. Now what else do we have when we see here? 3 is common out, so 3 can be removed outside, and we have remaining with b minus t. And down over here also we have b minus t, isn't it? Which cancels off. And then what is remaining is 3b plus 1 plus root of 3t plus 1. Now, when this denominator cancels, I mean this b minus t term cancels, now the limit b tends to t, if you put over here, it would have been 0 and it would have been undefined. But now there's no problem. Why? Because it's cancelled off. So I will apply the limit. The numerator is only 3. And the denominator, instead of b, it becomes t. That's fine. Plus the second term is what? 3t plus 1. Now here, imagine you have x plus x. It is 2x. Same thing, root x plus, you can write 2 root x, isn't it? The same way over here, we can write 3 divided by 2 root 3t plus 1. This is the concept over here. And that's it. That's the answer, guys. So the final answer will be 3 by 2 root 3t plus 1. There we go. So that's the final answer, and this one is just like the previous one, so I would expect you to solve it by yourselves and then check the answer. Here also, here we have, the same method, everything is same. We'll get 2 divided by 2 root t, 2t plus 4, but 2 and 2 can cancel off, and you can write 1 divided by square root of 2t plus 4. And finally, that is the end of the topic 17.